All right, welcome to lesson 4 of the graphing unit. Let's warm up on the things we should know already before we start adding on. Okay, so the slope-intercept formula, y equals mx plus b, is the formula. This, let's make up something, 2x plus 3. That's a linear equation in the slope-intercept form. Okay, but this is the formula. The y-intercept is the b. What is the y-intercept? If we were graphing this, the y-intercept is the 3, which is the same as 0, 3. So 0, 3. It's where the line of the graph goes through the y-axis. Okay, so this is a positive slope, so it's probably going through there like that somehow, and the tilt is a 2, so the other one is up and over, but to get a second point I would have to put something in here. So let's review how to get the solutions to a linear equation. So write the following in slope-intercept form, not in slope-intercept form, but if we isolate our y by dividing by a -3, we'll get y equals positive over negative is still a negative. Positive over negative is still a negative, and it reduces to a 2. So my slope is negative. Remember, I can put the negative up here or down here or out front. One negative is a negative slope, okay? And then my b is a -2. Don't forget the sign in front of it belongs to that. So how do we get a solution? Well, a solution is when we're graphing things. I need another point. I need a couple of points, okay? One point is always the y-intercept if it's in a form that looks like this. So how do we get our y-intercept? Well, that's our b, which is the same as 0, -2. So if I put a 0 in for x, when I multiply this together, it'll make a 0, so y will equal -2. Okay? And then when you have a fraction, you can always put in for x, you multiply by whatever the denominator is. So if you have -2 over 3, you want to multiply 3 over 1. That gets rid of the 3's, which gives you a -2. So -2 minus 2 is a -4. So when x is 3, your y is a -4. So if I was graphing this, my y-intercept is a -2. And then another point on this graph would be a 3, -4, which confirms the fact that this is a negative slope. Okay, when you have the equation, you can just get possible solutions. If you want to do the rise over run to check, you would go down 2 and over 3, and that would get you to the same spot. Okay, so up here, if I put a 0 in for x, I will get 3 for y. And then if I put something else in like a 1 for x, I will get a 2 plus 3 is 5 for y. So 1, 5 would be like up here somewhere. Okay, it all works together. So let's try that again. We've got a linear equation because there's one x, one y, and it's not in slope-intercept form, and they're asking me for the slope. So let's turn it around. This whole term is on the wrong side. And we're going to push over that positive 20 because I'm starting to make a b over there. And then divide by a -2 to isolate my y. Oops, -2. So that's going to give me my y equals -6 divided by a -2 is a 3. And then a positive 20 divided by a -2 is a -10. So my slope turned out to be a positive 3, and my y-intercept is a negative 10. So if you were graphing, my slope is a positive 3, but my y-intercept's way down here, and I would go up 3 and over 1, so that'd be kind of up there somewhere, and it's a positive sloping line. So solutions, one would be my y-intercept, the 0 for x, makes this go away. So, oops, sorry. The 0 for x makes this go away. I had to check my math, which makes this a negative 10. Sorry about that. That's my b down there, right? And then let's see, another would be if I put a 1 in for x, that would be 3 minus 10 is a negative 7. So 1, negative 7. So that's, consider my graph a little off because I don't have graph paper, but that's kind of confirms the direction everything was going. Okay, and there are other dots on this line for you to guess and check. Okay, an infinite number. So the slope formula, which is different than the slope-intercept formula, the slope formula is this that you've seen a lot. Don't forget those subtractions in there. So if you were given the line, given 2 points, the only thing you can do is start by finding the slope. So start by labeling. I'm going to decide this is 0.1 and this is 0.2. So this is an x1, y1. This is an x2, y2. And then plug in the formula for my slope. So y2 in this case is a negative 4. Then a minus from the formula. And then y1 was also a negative. Okay. And then x2 in this case is a positive 5, minus from the formula, and then x1, oops, yeah, another negative 5. This is weird looking. Negative 4, and then a double negative turns into a positive. So this will be what? Negative 3 over 10 is the slope of the line. Okay. The last one, follow the equation that represents this, the following equation represents taxi service charges. So it doesn't have a y and it doesn't have an x, but I want you to notice that it is in slope-intercept form. Okay, so sometimes you'll see the C of m. That's how you say that. It's in functional notation, kind of. So the C of m is your y. Okay. So that means your slope is this, the 1.75, and this is your b if you were graphing it. Think about it. As your cost goes up, it's a positive slope, so as your number of miles go up. Okay, positive relationship. So you're going to have a graph that looks like that. But anyway, it says if you need to travel 32 miles, that means the cost of 32 miles is 1.75 times the 32 miles plus 4. So C is going to equal 175 times 32. Do I have that written down? I don't. Let me do that real quick. Sorry, where's my... There we go. Let's see, 1.75 times 32 is 56 plus 4 is 60. How much will it cost? $60. Okay. And then the last ones here, I know I'm taking a while here, but I'll try to do these a little quicker. Some practice problems. So this one says, solve the equation, do not use decimals or mixed numbers. Those will not be accepted. No credit for those. Okay. So to solve for B is something that we're going to be working on. So we want to check our math for solving for any letter as they tell us. So orders of operations. So this is a -1 equals a -6 minus B. Move the -6 to the other side to isolate our B. So I have 5 equals negative b, which is not the same. So put the 1 as a regular b. So put the negative 1 here, negative 1 here. 5 divided by a negative 1 is a negative 5. So don't forget that. You can't just forget about this little negative in front. This one requires you to multiply a fraction first. So remember how we do this. This is the numerator, this is the denominator. This reduces to a negative 2. So you have 5 equals negative 2 plus b, and you can move the b to the other side by adding its opposite. This is what we did in the unit before. So b equals 7. And this one here looks a little complicated, but this is how things may come up. This is going to be a negative 15 over 2, which does not reduce, equals 11, but we need to move it to the other side by adding its opposite. So how do you add an 11 to a 15 over 2? Well, up here you could have cleared your fraction by multiplying the 11 by 2, the negative 15 over 2 by 2, and the b by 2. This would give you 22 negative 15 plus 2b, and then you just move the 15 over. 737 equals 2b, and divide by 2. b equals 37 seconds, which does not reduce. Let's check it by finishing this one. Well, what's 11 as something over a 2? Sorry about the lighting here. This is the best I got. Well, this is 11 over 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 11 is 22. 22 plus 15 is 37 over 2 equals b. Okay, so either way on that one. And then over here, I don't know why this is so dark. Let's see, solve for p. So here's my p, which means I start here. A double negative is a positive. Oops. Now I'm rushing to get this done. Let's see, 5 equals, and then distribute. And then move. P equals 2x plus 3. Remember, when you're doing those, keep everything. Or that's in kind of slope-intercept form without the y. So just following the same processes. F minus 5, just practice here. Solve for s means adding 5. So f equals 2x plus 3. Distribution of a fraction, you can also clear it. So let me try to do it 2 different ways. If I clear this fraction, I'm multiplying by 4. So this be 4y. So this is times, sorry, I'm thinking ahead, times 4. This is times 4, and this is times 4. So this is a 20. That makes that a 3, and you don't multiply it by what's in the parentheses because that's about to be distributed, so you don't want to do it twice. So 4y minus 20 equals 3x minus 12 plus 20. 4y equals 3x plus 8 divided by 4. Y equals 3/4 x plus 2. Let's do it another way. Let's do y minus 5 equals 3/4 x minus, how do you do 3 over 4 times 4 over 1? That's going to give you 12 over 4, which reduces to a 3. Well, that's nice. Plus 5. So it actually turned out to be easier this way than the other way. There you go. Okay. Hope that was helpful.